welcome to another video. We're going to do another little overview of one of the free programs I have today. So I'll put the link below in the description that will send you directly to the program. But on the website, under free stuff, we're going to go over the second one here, 6-week beginner peak block. So if you go to the website, you can always just click on the view program and get straight to this Google Sheet, just like the previous video. This first page here, start here, just gonna have information about me and the company, and then information about the specific program. Then we come over to athlete profile, and there's just information for you to put in about yourself, goals, your estimated 1 maxes. It is set up just for pounds, so make sure you put in your 1 maxes in pounds. And then here is our volume tracker for squat, bench, and deadlift. This is for the entire 6 weeks. So you can kind of see for squat here in the blue, we're going to a peak on week 2, and then we're going down 3 and 4, small little step up on week 5, and then down on week 6. Similar thing for bench, going up, peaking on week 2, then down 3 and 4, up on week 5, and then down on week 6. And then deadlift is slightly different, starting on peak on a volume on week 1, and then it drops down week 2, up week 3, down week 4, 5, and 6. Just a little bit of undulation, where here for squat and bench it goes up here, and on deadlift here. It's just that, just so we don't drop the volume too fast, too early. So we don't want it to just be like a linear drop week after week, because then you're just going to be dropping too much volume too far out. So we're managing the volume throughout the weeks and having a little bump up just to maintain a little bit of higher volume that your body can still recover from before dropping off, before doing your competition. And so here's just the data that's used, so just another way to look at it with the graph. You can see a little bit more easily. So going over to the training. So here we have 4 days now that we're doing for the peak, and then you can see it's going to be all competition specific stuff for the barbell work. So as a beginner, again, it's somewhat arbitrary, but if you're new to powerlifting and it might be your first competition or maybe your first year of competing, you need to be practicing the competition lifts, the competition standards, to really hone in that skill for that competition. So here you're going to see on day 1 we got competition squat and bench, and on day 3 we got competition squat and bench, and then on day 2 we have competition deadlift, some upper back work to counter all the pressing, and then just some core work. And then same thing for day 4, competition deadlift, upper back work, and then core work. So that's it. We're not doing any kind of fancy variations. We're not doing a ton of accessory work. You're basically in the final weeks leading into a competition, so you need to hone your skill. You need to get used to the heavier weights, and right now is not a time to be building muscle mass or building your cardiovascular endurance or testing out some new exercise you saw online. We want to prepare for the competition. So this is going to be maintained throughout the weeks. So week 2 is going to be the same breakdown. Week 3 is going to be the same breakdown. Same thing with week 4. With week 5, we're going to drop down to just 3 sessions. So session 4 is going to be an off session. So you're doing slightly less deadlifting on week 5, just because we're getting ready for the competition and we want to start dropping the fatigue a little bit. And then on week 6 is going to be your meet week. And I have recommendations on when to do the final sessions. So for example, if your competition's on Saturday, then you'll do your final session on Thursday so that you get Friday completely off before the competition. And then day 1 and day 2 will be Monday and Tuesday. So you're getting a little bit of volume still in, a little bit of intensity, practicing the competition lifts, squat and bench on day 1, deadlift on day 2. And then this Thursday, if your competition is on a Saturday, it's just 3 singles, just so you go through the movement pattern again. Just so you go through like going to the gym, going through your warm-up, putting your equipment on, making sure everything fits, warming up to 60% just to get your body moving before you let your body fully recover on Friday, and then you compete on Saturday. And then if your competition on a different day, you just backtrack it based on what I have here for you. For just the regular weeks, you can do it whichever days you want. Just be aware that it is lower body on day 1, day 2, and then day 3 and day 4, same thing. You have squat and deadlift. So You may be able to handle these being back-to-back days, so you could do Monday, Tuesday, and then take Wednesday off, and then do Thursday, Friday. Or you may not be able to handle it, and maybe you want to space this one out. Since this is your volume squat, you might want to do this on Monday, take Tuesday off, do your volume deadlift on Wednesday, take Thursday off, and then maybe you'll knock these two out back-to-back Friday and Saturday. So you can adjust your schedule depending on what your work schedule is like the rest of your life, and then how fast you tend to recover on the lower body, especially the volume. The intensity might be a little bit easier to recover from. All right. Some other things to note is sometimes you'll have a top set and then back off set, and sometimes I put in a final warm-up set before you go to your working set. So here, the original program had a lot more warm-ups in there with 60%, 50% work. I took those off since you can always watch other videos or different things out there to tell you how to warm up. But I figured, okay, let me put in the last warm-up. So here you do 5 reps at 70%, and then you do your 4 sets of 5 at 75%. Same thing here, you're going to do a triple at 75% as your last warm-up, and then you can do 4 sets of 2 at 85%. If for some reason this jump feels very big for you and it's uncomfortable, it shouldn't be for beginners, but if you feel like you are at a heavy weight, then you can always throw in a double or a single at 80% and then go your 85%. So you can always add that a little bit in there, and just doing 1 or 2 reps at 80% is not going to fatigue you. And then when you look at some other weeks, for example here, you're going to be doing 3 sets of 5 at a higher percentage first, 77.5%, and then you're going to back off to a lighter weight because you're going to be fatiguing from those 3 sets. So you're going to go to a lighter weight to make sure you can do it with good technique and be able to complete all 6 sets. All right, so you have some protocols that are like that. Some other protocols that you'll see are going to be like this one right here. So first we're doing 2 sets of 3 at 80%, then 4 sets of 2 at 85%, and then back down to 2 sets of 3 at 80%. So this is a little bit of a Boris Chico style if you've ever seen his programmings. So you're doing the 2 sets of 3 at 80%, 1 as a warm-up for the 85%, but 2 to start honing your technique. And for anyone who's kind of done straight sets, 5 sets of 5 at a certain weight, they might feel a little bit off on the first set, or maybe even the first 2 sets. Then they really hit their groove on set 3 and set 4, and then maybe by set 5 they kind of gotten fatigued and it drops off again. So this kind of lets you get to that groove first with your 2 sets at 80%, and then once you're really honed in, you can do your 4 sets of 2 at 85%. And then just to go back down and get a little bit of extra volume in at a lower intensity, this brings our average intensity down, and to kind of end on a good note. So if that 4 sets of 2 at 85% started getting difficult and maybe your technique started to fall apart, you going back down to a lighter weight and doing 2 sets and kind of getting that technique back, finishing on a good note. And then you will also see on week 4 we have a test day. All right, so this will give you a little bit of idea going into the competition of what you're capable of. So as a beginner, these percentages may be going in wrong direction, I would say, or maybe they're not accurate anymore. As you're getting stronger through a volume block you may have did, and then coming to the peaking block, this 95% may not be 95% anymore if your max has gone up a lot. So this will give you a little bit of idea of what you've done from the volume block and then the 3 weeks into this peaking block. So you do your double at 85%, your single at 90, and then your single at 95. A single at 95, in a competition, may be a second attempt or just slightly under a second attempt. So if this moves faster, like a first attempt or like a warm-up, then you know your max has gone up a lot, and that gives you a guide for your competition on week 6 that you're going to have to plan your attempts based on how fast this moved and not necessarily your 1 rep max. This is all making sure that there's not other variables involved, like if you are traveling a lot and cutting weight a lot, if it is your first competition, you don't know the rules, maybe you're not hitting the squat to the right depth, then that changes things. But if you're hitting this to competition standards and you're doing a local meet, you're not cutting weight, then this is going to be a better indicator than what your max is that might be 12 weeks old or 16 weeks old, and you've gotten considerably stronger. So you do that test on week 4, and then it kind of gets lighter into week 5 in both volume and intensity. And then as we saw, week 6 gets very light on volume and intensity to just make sure you're well recovered for your competition. So if we go back and look here, you will see that the test happens at the beginning of week 4. So you can see we're kind of like peaking our volume week 1 into week 2, and then week 3 kind of lighten things up. So you can do your test on week 4. Week 4 obviously is going to be lighter because you are doing that test day where you're barely doing any volume. And then we get a small bump in our squat and bench volume, bringing down the intensity after our test day. And then, like I said, meet week, very low volume, very low intensity, just maintaining your technique before the competition. All right, so I hope that helps you out, answer some questions. If you have anything when you look at it beyond what I said in here, then you can always, like I said, contact me on the start here. You got the coaching page, got email, Instagram. You can always comment on the YouTube video and let me know if there's any issues with the file or any questions you have, and I will answer it for you. All right, hope that helps you out, and good luck if you are using this to compete in the competition.